Hello, I'm Linda Dolke. I'm a demonstrator with Stampin'Up here in Australia, and today we are making these cute little pizza boxes, which I think you're really going to enjoy. My video is a little longer than I would normally do it today because it's actually a replay of a Facebook Live video that I did over on my Facebook business page. I'm having some problems with uploading from my phone to YouTube for some reason, so Facebook Live is providing me a way of still creating videos in the meantime until I sort that out. Today though, enjoy the video and enjoy the boxes, and I'll be back with more for you soon. So bye. These are our pizza boxes from the new catalogue. Aren't they gorgeous? They actually come flat, a little bit like IKEA. They come flat packed, and all you have to do is put them together, but there's no Allen keys required, no special skills. They come just like this, already scored, waiting to be put together. And all you do is fold on the score lines. I'm not going to put this one together yet because I'm actually going to decorate it and then I'm going to put it together, and you'll see, or at least partly, so you'll see what I mean. The top of the pizza box is where this little flap is. See, that's the little flap that's here that helps you lift the lid off easily. And at the other end there's a hole. And you'll see what that's for in a little bit as well, but where the hole is, that's the bottom of the pizza box, and where the little flap thing is, that's the top. So that's a really easy way to tell which is which. Okay, so I'll get rid of all these ones. And we're making this cute little quilted top. Now I've done a little bit of the pre-work, as in I've cut out these shapes with the Big Shot already, but I'll show you how that's done. Just I don't like to use my Big Shot more than necessary when I'm doing videos because this is only a trestle table and it really shakes when I use the Big Shot, which is my camera jumps all over the place, so it's probably not great for watching a video, but I'll just keep it to a minimum today. Okay, so let's start. I'm using the Quilted Christmas bundle, which is this stamp set here, and there's also a set of matching framelits. Let me grab those. The framelits are, there's this cute little flower with the petals in the outline, and there's also this great little frame which you can see on the top here. I've actually cut it out of Silver Glimmer, okay, and also you can cut out the whole piece behind, and you'll see that in just a moment. And on the back of those, you've got all these other framelits in the set. So they've got these ones which are kind of like a quilted motif for a flower, for a card design or something like that. What I do love about this is it's got these lovely stitched edges, and it really looks beautiful on a card. I haven't really done a lot of creating with it yet. I just had a go the other day, and just it's beautiful. So you will see me do some of those. There's also little holly leaves, and there's a star. There's even a little needle, and there's a bobbin. And oh, these are Christmas trees. One is a stitched one, and one is just a straight. And they cut out these shapes. You can see here in the stamp set these lovely Christmas shapes. One of the things I love about this little quilted bundle is that this one here, this one with all the little triangles in the middle that are sort of different textures, and then there's a smaller one here, and this one, so this would leave the spaces in between the same color as your background. So if you're stamping on white, your little spaces are going to be white, but if you want to fill those in with another color, then there are these little ones here which fill those little holes in, so you can actually have a multicolored tree if you wish. Really rather cute. And then there's the shape which you saw the matching framelit for a moment ago, and also the other stitch pieces as well. So the sky's the limit. There's so many things you can do with this set. It actually leaves a lot for your creativity to play around with, and I haven't even done nearly as much with it yet as I would like to. So there's just too many sets and too little time. You know how that is. Alright, so that's the stamp set. And then I also have, and the framelits, which you've just seen. And then there's also, as part of the suite, I actually do have the whole suite. I'm not showing it all to you today, but there's these lovely 6x6 papers, which are all in lovely quilted designs. And there's like gingham and actual little quilted designs. If you're a quilter, you'll probably know the name of that. And I'm so sorry, but I don't. I have only done a little bit of quilting in my lifetime, certainly not enough to know the correct names for things. And you can see it's mostly red and green. The real red and garden green are the colours, but every now and then they bring in another colour. There's a little bit of Blushing Bride pink here, or it might be powder pink. No, to me it looks like Blushing Bride. I should check that, but I will if anyone needs to know, I can comment on that later. And also there's a little bit of Pool Party, the light blue in there as well. So a little bit of Lemon Lime Twist, which is the light green, and that sort of really brightens everything up and makes it look really fresh. So lovely. Some of them have got lots of colours and some of them have only got a couple. So I really like them. I think they're lovely. All right, so there's 48 sheets of 6x6 paper in a pack, which I think is great value. And also part of the bundle is this embossing folder, which is called the Quilt Top embossing folder. It actually, if you do know your quilting terms, this is probably the only one I know, it does have a wedding ring design for anyone who's familiar with that, which is just a repeated pattern, and it looks really terrific. And I am going to use this. I'll show you how it works, or I'll show you what I'd like to do with it anyway. So there you go, there's a couple of pieces to start. And what I'll do is I'll just show you how they made the top. So I started out by, I've already gone ahead and pre-cut a piece of real red cardstock, which is behind here, you can see it. And when I pull out my framelits, this is the large square that I've cut out that real red piece. Okay, so you can see that there. And then I am going to use my Big Shot for this bit. I also cut this silver frame. So I'm going to bring it in, and hopefully we won't rock the camera too much. Let's see how we go. Move that out of the way, because I do want to show you a couple of tips when it comes to cutting this shape. All right, so what we actually want, we want the frame. So if you see what I mean, like the silver edges and the silver around the shape. Okay, it's really a frame. And I've got my silver glimmer paper here, and I'm going to be using, now if you have a magnetic plate, and I probably should have got my magnetic plate out for this, but this one will do. My favourite platform for the Big Shot is actually this thin die adapter. I think it gives just a little bit better cut. It does seem to apply a little bit more pressure through my Big Shot, and I still use my magnetic plate when I want to place something exactly like I'm about to do, or if I want to line up stamps and framelits exactly. That works really well, but I don't think it has quite the cutting edge that this particular platform does. If you buy a Big Shot these days, this is the platform that comes with it. The old ones had the hinges, so if yours has a hinge, it's not this plate, it's its predecessor. This new one, you can buy it separately, so it comes not hinged, a separate piece, just the bottom Big Shot platform, and then the thin die adapter, which you would add when you're using the metal framelits. Okay, and that gives you exactly the right amount of pressure to make a really great cut. So I don't even need, with this, I don't even need my precision plate very often unless the dies are really intricate. So that's what I tend to do. And then on top of that, I'll need my base cutting plate. And my cutting plates have got a little bit of a bend to them, and I'm nearly up to wanting to order some more. Alright, so I've got my glimmer paper here. A tip that I would give you is to actually cut it from the reverse side. You can cut it on the side up, and if you're cutting letters or something where the direction is important, then you must do that. But when it's a shape like this, I actually find I get a little bit better cut if I cut from the back, because it's the backing paper that holds the whole thing together, and so when you cut that, it will actually come out just a little easier. So I've made my paper just wide enough. Thankfully, something that I think most people would know is the cutting edge on these framelits is nearly always the inside edge. The only ones that are not the inside edge of the framelits are the stitch shape framelits, which are the inside edge plus a little bit more to reveal that stitching. So, but your straight framelits, the inside edge is the cutting edge. So even if the outside goes just over the paper a little bit, as long as the inside edge is on it, it's still going to cut through. So I'm actually lining this up, and you can see why it would have been handy to have my magnetic plate. Okay, let me move it a little bit. And you're probably watching going, oh, no, not that way, put it right. Alright, let me just, I will be happy with it in just a moment. Okay, I'm reasonably happy with that. And it is important because when it's such a thin frame, it's really easy to, if you're too much one way, you get a really thin edge, and that's not what you want. And if it doesn't work for me, I will be doing it again. So I'm just going to pop this in really carefully and bring it down check this, it hasn't moved. It doesn't look like it has. And this is the bit where it might wobble a bit. No, my apologies if it does. Let's see how we go. I'll try to be gentle. But it's really hard because there's a fair bit of pressure going on as this goes through. Whoop, sorry about the bump. All right, let's see how that went. It looks pretty good, so let's see. All right, so I'm just going to peel that off. I'm actually, from the other side, I can see that it has cut through. You might not be able to see that in the video, but I can see that. And so I should just be able to push all the pieces out. Now, if you're someone who likes to save all these little metallic pieces for something else, and I do know a couple of people that like to do that, then this is the chance to salvage them. Otherwise, they're probably going to end up on the floor or in the bin, all those little extra pieces. And then when I peel off the corner, it comes off really easily, by the way. There we go. Now I've got my lovely silver frame. And I've put against the red, you can see how nice that is. It's exactly the same size because the same framelit has been used to cut out both the red piece and the outside of the silver frame. Okay, so it's a perfect match. All right, I'm just going to get those out of the way. Isn't that cool? It looks really nice. If you're wondering how to attach this, you could use fine tip glue, you could use whatever you like really. Mini dimensionals are too small, are too big. You might get one in the middle but everywhere else you wouldn't, so I wouldn't even bother with that. Instead I just put it, because all I want to do is hold it in place. So I'm just adding a little bit of snail around the edge of my glitter paper and maybe just a little bit around the other edges, but the place that I think is handy to have a bit is right in the middle. And I can always hear when my snail is, I'm getting right towards the end of the roll, and it never rolls as well at the end as it does at the beginning. Okay, that is going to be enough to hold it. And what you want to do is you just want to line up the edge. Sorry if you've got the back of my head. My apologies. All right, and then just going to push that down over the whole thing, and that is actually going to hold that in place beautifully. All right, so now we have, you could just leave it like that if you wanted to. I mean, even without the stamping, I think that's really beautiful. It's lovely. Okay, but of course, we want to use our bits and pieces. So there are 2 stamps in the stamp set. I'll show you these 2 here. This is actually one stamp. Even though the pieces are separate, they are actually on the one. And mine is stained red from using real red this many times to create these red motifs. So the photopolymer is permanently stained red. Even when it's clean, it still stains, but I know it's not going to affect the way it stamps, so it doesn't particularly worry me. But that's how it's going to look. And for the video, it's probably not so bad because it makes it easier for you to see it. Okay, so I have my stripy one here, and it's actually perfectly cut out. Well, the framelits in a moment we're going to cut out. They're the stripy ones that come from this particular stamp with the 2 diamonds. And you can see I've done another one here, which is the other one. So there's a stripy one and a dotty one. And this is the dotty one. Okay, so I use, what block is this? Block H, okay, which I find is really good. Also, here's the thing, my photopolymer here, I've used it so many times, it's not sticking as well as I would like. If you wash these in warm soapy water to clean them up, they actually regain their stick and will stick beautifully again on your blocks. So that's a good thing to know. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've already got my 2 dotty stamped red. Oh, here's something else that you should know. You want to do these, when you're stamping these, you want to do them on a strip of paper, like this, okay? And the reason why is I could cut these out by hand, but actually that wouldn't be all that smart because you want them to fit exactly into these spaces. So the best way to make sure they fit exactly is to use the framelit to cut them out. But if you put them on, if you put this stamp on a big piece of white, when I go to cut this out, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be lining up. See how these ones line up? So the frame lines up with the stamp perfectly. If you use it on a bigger piece of paper, you're going to get all of this and all of this cutting as well, which means you get quite a bit of wastage. If you want to reduce the wastage, just stamp it onto a strip of paper, and that way you won't have as much waste. Okay, so you can see, I don't need to put that through for you. You can see how it cuts those out, okay? There's only two, so the dotty ones are this one, and the stripy ones are the next one around, so they're next to each other. But the dotty ones, I like them all, and it's nice to use both because it really does give you that quilted look. So to put them on is actually a little bit like doing a jigsaw puzzle. Super easy. I'm just going to use a bit of snail on the back of each one, and I'm going to pop them straight in. And you do your stripy ones opposite each other, so wherever you start, I do the one on the other side because that way you don't get mixed up. And then the other shapes that are left over, you're going to go alternate. So stripy, then we've got red, then we're going to go stripy again. So it really is, it's actually quite satisfying putting these together. It's a little bit therapeutic, a bit like popping bubble wrap or something like that. So for anyone who wasn't here at the beginning, I'm doing a Facebook Live video because I'm having trouble uploading photos from my phone to iMovie and YouTube at the moment. I don't know why. It hasn't allowed me to do it for over a week now. So this is my, I've been missing doing videos. I really enjoy them, and it's really sad when I can't help my customers out and show them stuff. So both good for me and good for you guys. So what I will be doing is uploading this Facebook video to YouTube, even though it's going to be a longer one, and then hopefully when I get the problem fixed, I'll just do the odd Facebook Live video here. But in the meantime, it's the only way I can put anything on YouTube. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting hubby to investigate. He's good at that sort of thing. So hopefully he will work out what the problem is soon. I'm guessing it might be a storage problem because I think I'm running out of storage room on my phone. Even though the video's there, it's not coming over. Right, you can see that now I've put all the pieces in and I have this beautiful shape. I finished it off. I used some of the faceted gems, these guys, and you could use whichever size you liked. I used the medium size. Just ease those off the plate, off the backing paper, to make sure you take the glue with it. Whoop, did I? I think I left it behind, having said that. It's actually, you know, the best way to do it, and I should really make the effort to do it, is to use your scissors and actually use the point of the scissors, because then you make sure you pick up your adhesive. So that was a bit lazy of me just using my fingers, and in the end the scissors work better anyway. Okay, so that's how that works. That's done. To finish this off, I'm just going to add 4 dimensionals, one in each corner, not too close to the corner so they can't be seen, and pull the backs off those. Ready to go. And then over here I have my pizza box that we talked about before. I'm actually going to, I've got a piece of, where is it? Oh, there it is. A piece of gingham paper from that paper pack we looked at earlier. And if anyone's commenting or saying hello or asking questions, I will check all of it at the end of the video when I'm done with the creation. Right, just position that in the center there. I just find it easier to do that stage while my box is still flat. I'm actually going to then put it together. I could put this on, and or I can put it on at the end, it doesn't matter, but I just wanted to do my flat gluing while the box was flat. I'm just going to go and fold on all the score lines. You know what this reminds me of? When I was little, my dad and my parents had orchards. We had about 5 acres just outside of Sydney, and we grew peaches and plums and lots of different stone fruits. And in the Christmas holidays, our whole holidays were picking fruit and sending it off to market, and we used to buy cartons in bulk and have to put them together and make them into boxes, and it was just like this. This reminds me of that so much. Every time I do it, I can't not think about that. All right, so the pieces hold. I find if you put the bottom together, then all you got to do with that actually creates the shape of the box, and then all you have to do is shut it down, and it's ready to go. Now these ones have already been pulled off, so I'm just going to position that, sorry about the back of my head, position that in the middle of my gingham piece, and my box is done. Okay, super easy. Alright, the last thing I wanted to show you is in one of the boxes here, I've actually cut some 3 by 6 inch strips of Whisper White paper, and then when it's folded it becomes a 3 by 3 card. I ran some of the paper, doesn't matter which one, through the Quilt Top embossing folder. Okay, and that gives this, I don't know if you can see, that gives it this beautiful texture, and it actually takes a little bit of colour out of the top design, so you can actually see it looks like the top's been stitched, so it's really lovely. And I just added a word. If I had added the word or even like a flower or something like that before I did the quilt top stitching and put it all through together, it actually embeds that extra piece into the quilt top, so it even looks like it's more one, even looks even more stitched, more sewn. So it's really nice little way to go. So, oh, and the last thing I wanted to mention is the other thing that's in here. If you notice, there's little 3 by 3 envelopes. Aren't they super cute? So they're a little bigger than 3 by 3. They are designed to hold a 3 by 3 card, so these cards fit into those, and to me that makes a lovely gift. So, you know, pop, you know, 3 or 4 of those little cards in there, a couple of envelopes, and all of a sudden you've got a lovely present for somebody. So I think I'll leave that with you today. That's been fun, and thank you for coming and sharing a cuppa with me. I hope that I will get my YouTube channel organised so I can load things up to it again, but in the meantime you might see me here from time to time anyway. So if you haven't liked my Facebook business page, please hit the like button, and you can follow along anytime. I post photographs and ideas and all sorts of different bits and pieces, but also do these Facebook live videos every now and then. So just stop on by, and thanks for being with me today. Thanks guys, bye.